What's going on, guys? Dustin here on how we're going to get to 100% through my life and what I'm doing. So without further ado, hold on, smash the like button, subscribe, give me a post notification smash as well so you know every time I post a new video. We're going to get to 100%. Let's get right into it.
I've been moving condos, find no trouble with me. Trying to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me. Don't pull up at 6 a.m. and cuddle with me. You know how I like it when you loving on me. I don't wanna die for them to miss me. Guess I see the things that they wishing on me. Hope I got some brothers that outlive me. They gon' tell the story, shit was different. God's plan, God's plan.
Alright, so today we're going to talk about foreclosures, okay? What is a foreclosure? I'm going to break down the different types of foreclosures there are, okay? What the different stages of the foreclosure process are, and then I'm going to tell you how to find foreclosures. Because I get a lot, how do I find a REO, or how do I find foreclosure so I can get the best deal? So, first, we're going to break down the different types and the different phases of the foreclosure, okay? Because there's three. There's a pre-foreclosure, there's the actual foreclosure, and then there's the post-foreclosure, okay? So we have to understand what a foreclosure is to dive into the next step. So the beginning, okay? What is a foreclosure? Well, you stop paying your payments, and then the bank or the holder of the loan is going to take the property back. So we need to understand what the first process is. So the pre-foreclosure is the process in which you can buy the home before it goes into the full foreclosure, because now the owner of the property knows that they're going to lose their home, and now they have the motivation behind them to sell that home before it goes into foreclosure. Because what happens when someone goes into foreclosure being a homeowner? Well, they're going to have to deal with the penalties of having the 5 to 7 years of them not being able to buy a home. The credit's going to get destroyed, so that makes it more advantageous for them to want to sell their home prior to foreclosing. Because what would you do? I mean, I'd sort of sell my home if it would save my credit. I mean, you're not going to make any money off the home, but at least you get to save the credit. It's not two negatives, it's only one. So that's pre-foreclosure. The next one that we're going to talk about is the actual foreclosure. Okay, so once we're past the pre-foreclosure and they sent title to the county, then the county is going to put the property up for auction. Here in Florida, it's different between different states, but here in Florida, what we do is we have auctions at the property. So they put the home up, they give a date, and everybody shows up to the auction, and then the property is sold to the highest bidder. Now, what does the auction price start out at? The auction price always starts out at the price that the home loan is owed on. So let's say they're auctioning off a property, and the money that's owed on it for the loan is $40,000. Well, the auction is going to start off at $40,000, so that the mortgage company and the bank will get their, or not the mortgage company, the bank will get their piece for that property being sold. Now, this is the foreclosure period, okay? This happens only when they got everything legally, paperwork documented from the courthouse, and everything's been approved to go ahead and auction off the property, because it's not a quick process. They give notices to the homeowner. It's not something they just throw you out of the house. They have to get the judge to approve it, and then it goes to auction, and then it gets auctioned off. So this is the actual foreclosure period, okay? And this isn't always the best time to buy the home, because then you have to analyze it. Let's say you do get your offer accepted at the auction, okay? Then you have to analyze that property to make sure that it's worth the investment that you bought it for. Because a lot of times we have this belief that we are going to get a perfect deal just because it's a foreclosed on property. So that's something that you have to be careful of. Another thing to keep in mind when buying a foreclosed on property in this stage is you're not really going to be able to see the inside of the property. So with that being said, when you're making your offer and you're making your bid, you also have to keep in mind the liens, okay? So whatever that owner had as far as liens on the property, well, you're going to assume those liens as well as whatever maintenance that you have in the property to get it fixed as far as maintenance. So with that being said, they typically only allow cash. So there won't be too many financing options out there as far as an auction goes when they're in this stage of foreclosure, but you can get a good deal. But keep that in mind, they're only going to be wanting cash offers. So now we went over the pre-foreclosure, and then we went over the foreclosure process. Now, after the property was being auctioned off, let's say if it didn't have a new homeowner that bought it and the bank took it back and because they couldn't get the financing amount that they financed the previous owner, then they go through the post foreclosure process. In this state, this is where most of the public sees the property for sale. This is where they say, I want to find a foreclosure. This is where me as an agent goes on the MLS and looks for foreclosed on properties that are owned by the bank. Now, in this process here, the only way you can find these properties is to get yourself an agent. I am an agent myself, so I can go on the multiple listing service and I can look at them. You can use other websites like realtor.com, Zillow, but they may not be as accurate as you need them to be. And once the bank takes the home back, it is then legally pronounced as a REO. That means real estate owned property. This is where it's now open to the public, so the bank can list it with a real estate agent and sell it for current market value so they can get their money back for the property. The best way to find these properties is through the multiple listing service. What is that? That is the website that us as agents use to list all our homes into one database to where that we can see all the homes on the market. And it currently is the most accurate for us to use as agents so that we can find REO properties for our clients. So we can find those investment opportunities for our clients. So that's the most accurate way to find these properties, but you can do your own research as far as other sites like Zillow, Realtor.com, etc. So with that being said, you have to have or be an agent or have a real estate license to get access to the multiple listing service. So, well, Dustin, I'm not an agent. What do I do? So you need to go get an agent, or you need to become an agent, okay? Because you're only going to find these deals if you have somebody that knows the market. Like, I know the real estate market in my area probably better than I know my family events, the dates of them, okay? Because that's my job to know exactly what's going on in the market. And how does the real estate agent get paid? Well, we typically always get paid by the seller. So if you're looking to buy a foreclosed on property, then if you get an agent, you use them, you get the knowledge, you get everything, and you get your investment, and you don't have to pay them because the seller pays us. So with that being said, get yourself an agent that knows what they're doing so you can go out and get a good investment. They also have REO departments at banks. They're not the most common in the world nowadays, but they do have those. So there are possibilities to make a connection with somebody at a bank for those kind of properties. I myself don't have too many relationships like that, but you typically see most REOs online on the MLS when they're listed by real estate agents. So that is another way you can do it. There's also other ways you can find foreclosures, like the HUD store, okay, because the HUD does foreclosures as well, so you can find that online if you wanted to go that route. They have a website called foreclosures.com. And why do we want to do this much research? Why are we doing this and being so thorough about these properties if we're wanting to invest? Because, guys, we're getting to 100%. Any way we can, we just got to keep trying. Just keep on going. So there is many different ways to buy these foreclosed on homes and get these good investment properties. You just have to know what to do and how to get them, okay? But you have to know step by step and understand the process of these foreclosed on homes for you to make educated investment opportunity. Okay, so now that we understand the foreclosure process, okay, the first 3 steps or stages that foreclosure goes into, okay? Pre-foreclosure, foreclosure, and then post-foreclosure, okay? Now we know where to find the foreclosures at via foreclosures.com, get your real estate agent, the MLS, etc. Now, how do we buy the foreclosure? We need to know how to properly buy and put an offer in on the foreclosure. Well, you need an agent to do this unless you know how to do it yourself, to write up the contract, to submit. Now, one of 3 things is going to happen. You are going to get your offer accepted. You're going to jump up and down. It's going to be great. Or they're going to counter offer with a higher price on what they would like. Or they are going to have a couple more offers in, and they're going to tell you that they want you to submit your highest and best offer. This is when you put your highest and best offer in, given the circumstances on the investment that you want, go over numbers and all that. Now, let's say your property gets accepted. I always put a 10-day inspection period on my contracts for my clients, or if I'm putting out one myself. So, what this inspection period does is it lets you analyze the home and get an inspection, look at the comps, and decide within that 10 days if this is a good investment opportunity for you. What does it mean if this isn't? Or let's say you need a new roof, or there's a huge roof leak. Well, within the inspection period, you are allowed to cancel the contract due to the inspection, and you get your deposit back. It's 1% here in Florida. It differs between different states or different transactions. So, now that we know how to buy a foreclosed on home, we can go out there and get 100% the best deals on the market.